Imagine a human mind accurately retrieving 400 complex data points, intricate historical texts, and their exact chains of transmission in a single sitting. Every detail is recalled perfectly, without a single error. This feat was achieved by Abu Bakr ibn Abi Shaybah. His peers, the elite scholars of his generation, audited this exact recitation and verified his flawless accuracy. He built this mental archive by ingesting massive volumes of oral data, starting at exactly 14 years old, training directly under master scholars like Qadi Shirek. This chart compares cognitive neuroplasticity and rote memory retention against age. You can see the biological peak for sheer data retention hits right around age 14, giving him a massive cognitive advantage over older scholars. In the 9th century, relying on biological memory to store data was a necessity. It served as the sole critical infrastructure for preserving an entire civilization's defining texts. He was born into what his contemporaries called a house of knowledge. His brothers and his nephew, Abu Ja'far, formed a generational dynasty dedicated to strict data preservation. He operated alongside intellectual titans like Ahmad ibn Hanbal and Yahya ibn Ma'in. They maintained the integrity of their data through aggressive oral cross-examination, constantly stress-testing each other's memories to eliminate errors. This network map models their peer review ecosystem. Ibn Abi Shaybah sits at the center, maintaining verified connections to figures like Hanbal and Ma'in. Within this elite circle, where error-free recitation was the baseline, his peers ranked his retention capacity highest. Surviving this brutal vetting process meant his records were ready to serve as the definitive standard for the state's upcoming ideological campaign. By the year 234 of the Hijri calendar, the political stakes reached a breaking point under the rule of Caliph al-Mutawakkil. The Abbasid Empire was actively fracturing over theological disputes, driven by the spreading doctrines of the Mu'tazila and Jahmiya movements. The Caliph launched a strategic counter-offensive. He summoned traditional scholars to the capital, ordering them to deploy across the empire and publicly broadcast verified hadiths. Ibn Abi Shaybah stood at the epicenter of this offensive. He arrived in the massive, high-stakes environment of Baghdad to speak at the Rusafa mosque. The state weaponized his authority, using his verified database to overwrite a hostile ideology in the public square. 30,000 citizens packed the courtyards of Rusafa Mosque to hear him. This schematic breaks down the Mustamli acoustic relay system. To reach a crowd that size without microphones, a single voice is caught and instantly re-emitted by human relays positioned in concentric rings, rippling the audio out to the far edges. Through this human network, Ibn Abi Shaybah accessed his mental archive. He delivered precise, authenticated data points one by one, dismantling the Mu'tazila arguments in real time. His biological memory anchored the theological reality of a massive empire during its most vulnerable moment. The 30,000-strong crowd at Rusafa demonstrated the reach of the spoken word, but it also underscored its limit. That entire transmission relied on a single biological presence. If he were silenced, the network would vanish. To counter this, he initiated a massive codification project. He downloaded his mind into permanent physical formats, authoring massive works like the al-Musannaf. By committing these oral traditions to ink and parchment, he locked fluid histories into a strict visual grid. The al-Musannaf shifted Islamic jurisprudence from an oral tradition into an indexed one. Legal principles were no longer subject to the availability of a specific scholar, but became searchable on a shelf. Ibn Abi Shaybah possessed an unmatched capacity for recall. He recognized that the era of oral preservation was coming to a close, and he successfully wrote his mind into the physical code of his civilization before he faded.